Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we will be talking about preparation for the lifetime journey to Hajj. Everyone should have his own or her own checklist. It should be personalized to your needs, your own hat, white umbrella, sunscreen unscented without perfume to protect you from exposure to sun, especially if you are type 1 or type 2 skin color. You should have your aluminum water bottle to be refilled without the toxins it could be released from the plastic bottle under exposure to heat. Your usual medication, if you are diabetic, you have renal or heart problem, it should be with you with the prescription which justify carrying your medication, especially if you have syringes. Syringes will not be allowed in airport without prescription form, as well as the usual medication for common cold, headache, or heartburn, things you usually use. One of the most important things in your checklist is sanitizer without perfume and scented. Because perfume are not allowed in Hajj. This is very important in preventing contamination of your hands during eating, and it is very common that you will not find enough soup in overcrowded, even 5-star hotel to clean your hands. But this will bring us to a very important subject which called Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. It is well known by the WHO. It is a respiratory infection, simply chest infection. It is not really serious unless you are over 65 years old or under 12 years old, pregnant women, or victim of chronic illness like heart failure, chronic chest infection, emphysema, things like that. And strangely enough, in spite of the fact it is a chest infection, cleaning the hands by sanitizer is the most important preventive factor in preventing this very serious problem. Preparing your pack list is very important. Things things you need to know about the Hajj. You should have a booklet for Hajj regulations and what you need to do there. Another thing we need to talk about is a risk of stampede, which especially between Arafah and in Muzdalifah, there is a very high risk of overcrowded, and you should never pick up things from the ground if you lost something, because it is very dangerous. And you should also avoid overcrowded area, trying to not to walk, only to walk slowly according to your fitness, and not to fight. Try to walk peacefully, and because it is really one of the most important dangers, not in Hajj, but in any overcrowded area. You should drink plenty of water as one of the most important precautions against heat exposure, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke is drinking plenty of water, especially with your aluminum bottle, as we mentioned before. Zamzam is a great water, and it is clean water, and you should drink it with disposable cups or your aluminum bottles. Try to avoid the metal cups around Zamzam, because most of the Al-Hajj use it for al-wudu. So it may be contaminated, and it is not really clean enough for your drinking water. We all know the importance of drinking plenty of water, especially in hot weather. In Al-Hajj, you should expect very high temperature. So drinking plenty of water will help you to protect yourself from the most important heat problems, which heat exhaustion and heat stroke, la qaddar Allah. Heat exhaustion, we all know that people under severe exposure to heat will produce excessive sweats and feel dizzy, unable to do most of the things they can usually do, maybe weakness and things like that. People having these symptoms, if they are not diabetic, because it is very similar to hypoglycemic symptoms, they should drink plenty of water, brought to the shade, avoid the sun first, and having medical attention. If this was not done properly, it may proceed to heat stroke, which is life-threatening problem, as you know, and people at this stage stop sweating because they have no water to sweat anymore, and they could have some kind of permanent irreversible damage to their kidneys and heart and brain if they are not treated properly and intensely. Drinking, I cannot really stress enough on drinking water all the time. Sometimes in Umrah, it will be in Ramadan and you are not able to drink water, but most of at-tawaf and other things could be done after dusk. Another things we mentioned before in drinking is clean water. If you are having dinner or meals in a street vendor, don't drink their water. Drink the bottle pre-made water, because this water may not be Zamzam water. You should have your own Zamzam water in your aluminum bottle, or have a natural bottle prepared by manufacturer. Also, the meals in general, you should stress on very well cooked meat, very well cooked meal as well, because sometimes in the public vendors, they are overcrowded, they are not able to cook properly for thousands and thousands of customers. Sometimes the meat is not very well prepared or very well cooked, so don't eat this meat or meals, because it is one of the most common of diarrhea, traveler diarrhea, or even food poisoning. We have mentioned before sanitizer, cleaning your hand before eating every time. because you might get your hand contaminated and you don't really know during الطواف and Hajj procedures. Having mentioned that, don't forget your packing list. Don't forget your hat, your umbrella, your medication, either your regular medication or emergency medication. Don't forget your sunscreen. Don't forget your sanitizer and your aluminum bottle, and have a very nice trip.